And our shout out tonight for a small band of investigative reporters who have had an outsized impact on the officials they've been covering for years in the U.S. territory of Puerto Rico. When more than 100,000 people took to the streets in San Juan, Puerto Rico this summer, demanding the ouster of the governor and other local officials, it was the direct result of the work of a small team of investigative reporters at Puerto Rico's Center for Investigative Journalism, led by Executive Director Carla Minette.
We never expected something like this would happen. We just thought that there were so many things wrong with the governor and his closest advisors and officials that we thought that everybody had to know how they were talking, who they were talking about, and what was the tone that they were using.
And it all came in an almost 900-page transcript of an online messaging, a chat it's called, between the governor and his closest associates and advisors, documents turned over by a confidential source. The governor called one rival a whore. He wrote about another, "We must liquidate him today." One of the governor's deputies wrote about a frequent critic of the governor, "I am salivating to shoot her."
You would never expect something like that from a government official about their own political party allies, about the poor people, about women, about LGBT community, about everyone. You know, you wouldn't expect that. Just to see it in black and white, it was awful.
It must have been amazing to see it right there in front of you.
It was. We were speechless.
Their story came as the people of Puerto Rico were still trying to recover from 2 devastating hurricanes, and the snide comments from the governor and his cronies, Minette says, proved to be a kind of tipping point in the public outrage.
They just, in general, they talk in a very disrespectful way about the victims. And I think that hurt many people. You know, everybody here in Puerto Rico went through a lot because of the hurricane.
A former top aide of the governor wrote about the growing problem with dead bodies, quote, "Now that we are on the subject, don't we have some cadavers to feed our crows?"
The demonstrations
Within days of the group's publication of the governor's chats, the crowds began to form on the streets of San Juan, leading to some violent confrontations.
Tear gas was first deployed by police around 11 p.m., and that sent protesters running.
At first, Governor Ricardo Rossello said he had no intention of stepping down.
There are 100,000 people on the streets, politicians of all stripes, the President of the United States, all saying, you need to go, that this is enough. You've said no. Why not?
Well, there's an important component about rule of law and democracy, and I respect that process.
But the protests continued, fueled by the ongoing reporting of the Center for Investigative Journalism. And then,
after hours of delay, Rosselló finally said the words these people had been waiting 12 days to hear: "I will be resigning."
I have to say I was not surprised. Everybody expected that to happen. We were expecting that to happen because he had no other choice.
But when it happened, did you feel like, oh my goodness, we caused this?
Well, you know, I don't see it as we caused this. I see it like as the people did their part. You know, we do so many stories that never have this kind of outcome. So I think it was the people's doing what happened in the end.
The Center for Investigative Journalism and its reporters were applauded across the island and by prominent journalists in New York and Washington. The praise is appreciated, Minette says, but it creates expectations for a lot more.
You know, we are very concerned about trying to catch up with what people expect from us. you know, we are also citizens. We have families, we live here. And of course, we are concerned about the outcomes of this process. But we feel that socially it has been a great lesson for everyone in Puerto Rico and also for other countries and for other states and territories.
A lesson about the power of the press?
Yeah, definitely. The power of the press and the power of the people.
And the power of the people. I like how she told me we're both citizens and journalists. So our shout out tonight to Puerto Rico Center for Investigative Journalism. Keep up the good work down there. That's our program for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you back here on the Law and Crime Network next week. Good night.